5th of November 2001, Bonfire Night in Sheffield, England. While families watched fireworks light up the sky, a young mother was fighting for her life in the shadows. Michaela Hague, at the time of the murder, was 25 years old. This year, the same amount of years had passed since she was killed. Michaela lived in the Pitsmoor area of the city. The distance from her home to Bower Street, where Michaela was picked up by the murderer, is a 14-minute walk, whereas she would have got a taxi or a lift around 7 minutes. That night she entered the city, Bower Street and Corporation Street. Quiet areas once the sun had set. Streets that would largely be deserted except for late night traffic. Michaela encountered a man, a stranger yet precise in his movements, someone she would see and remember. Even as she struggled for every breath in her final moments, she gave a description that would become crucial to the investigation. White male, about 6 feet tall, clean-shaven, wearing glasses, blue clothing described as a fleece, and a wedding ring. Each detail captured while she was dying. A clue that could identify a man who had hidden in plain sight. Using her words alone, we reconstructed a face using AI. Not imagination, not creative guesswork, only her eyes and memory. That face has remained a mystery in Sheffield for over 2 decades. Michaela entered a blue Ford Sierra. But in 2001, the streets of Sheffield were full of ordinary cars, and this one would vanish without a trace. The vehicle took her from the city centre to Riverside Quarter, near Nursery Street. A quiet industrial area, a place almost completely deserted after dark. An isolated spot where someone could attack without being seen. The killer knew the city. He knew where the streets emptied, where factories closed, where no one would hear a scream. The crime was not impulsive, it was controlled and calculated. Michaela was stabbed 19 times. Most wounds focused on her neck and back. This was a sustained, brutal attack. She was semi-conscious when found by a friend around 8 p.m, fighting to survive for several hours. Despite every effort, she was pronounced dead at the Northern General Hospital at 11:05 p.m. In her final moments, she gave details that would become the foundation for the investigation. White male, 6 feet tall, but doesn't state what build. Going off the E-fit released by police, he looks a slim build. Clean-shaven, wearing glasses, dressed in blue clothing described as a fleece, wearing a wedding ring. Every detail was recorded on the hand of the first officer, PC Richard Twigg, a living record of her last moments. Michaela's bravery in describing her attacker gave the world its only glimpse of the man who took her life. Let's take a look at the notes made on the hand. 11:05 dead. This records the official time of death. Michaela was pronounced dead at the Northern General Hospital at 11:05 p.m. on Bonfire Night, 5th of November 2001. Ross, 8:40 arrival. This refers to the timeline of the friend who first discovered her. Ross arrived at the scene or hospital around 8:40 p.m, marking the moment police began receiving formal statements. 8:44 Take Cafe. A note regarding Cafe, the woman nearby who helped find Michaela and called for help. The time likely marks when she was taken to give her statement or moved from the scene. Wedding ring. One of the most chilling details Michaela provided. It suggests the killer was likely leading a double life, a family man, integrated into society. Clean-shaven. A specific physical descriptor used for AI reconstruction. Boxer refers to the boxy style of the Ford Sierra or possibly a specific roof rack brand. Did you buy this car from a man fitting the description on or after 2001? Or sell the car to the man fitting the description on or before this date? The hand acts as a living notebook. It symbolises how PC Richard Twigg had to scramble to record Michaela's last words. Before she was dying, every second counted. The man Michaela described was ordinary in appearance, but extraordinary in his capacity for violence. A man who would blend into a crowd unnoticed, invisible. In 2001, a convicted murderer and person of interest, Christopher Halliwell, was 37 at the time of Michaela's murder. The man was described by Michaela as 38 at the time of the murder. The wedding ring. Halliwell was married to Lisa in 2001, living in Swindon. He had a history of violent crime, had worked as a taxi driver, and owned multiple vehicles over the years. This lifestyle, changing cars, driving through towns, working at night, could allow him to move unnoticed, leave little trace. As of 2026, no DNA evidence has linked him to the murder. Methodical, emotionally contained, strong need for control, calm under pressure, able to blend in after committing violence. Beneath the surface was someone capable of extreme violence. Someone who could vanish into routine without anyone suspecting. Be comfortable driving alone at night. Shows sudden behavioural changes after the 5th of November 2001. A car disappears. Clothing is discarded. Routine shift. maintain a normal family life while hiding in darkness. Know the city's quiet corners. This man doesn't panic. He doesn't draw attention. He disappears into his own life, leaving the city to carry on unaware of the violence that occurred in its streets. The investigation focused on the blue Ford Sierra. Thousands of vehicle owners were interviewed. Over 5,000 were eliminated. More than 10,500 lines of inquiry were followed. The car was never found. The murder weapon was never recovered. Riverside Quarter was deserted that night. No witnesses saw the struggle. But without a vehicle, without DNA, and sadly since some of the original witnesses have passed away, the case remains frozen in time. Michaela Hague's partner Mick Holmes said her death had destroyed him, their son, and Michaela's family. He asked anyone who knew about Michaela's murderer to come forward, saying, "Give him up, he's a killer." Michaela's son grew up without a mum. Michaela never got a chance to grow older and have a life, but the murderer did. He doesn't stand out, he never really did. The kind of man who blends into a queue or a pub without effort. He wears a wedding ring. He looks settled, ordinary. That's how he gets away with it. South Yorkshire Police interviewed thousands of Sierra owners. They went on Crime Watch. They spoke to men matching the description. But the killer went quiet. Some offenders commit one horrific act and never offend again, not because they feel remorse, but because they believe they survived it. There is also the blue wall of silence. Did someone, a wife, a brother, a friend, see him come home with blood on his fleece? Did they notice the blue Sierra car disappear from the driveway? This man would likely be in his late 50s or early 60s. There is a hard truth we have to face when we look at cold cases like Michaela's. Now it's our turn to speak for her.